Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. There are risks and costs to action, but they are far less than the long-range risks of comfortable inaction. Too often we enjoy the comfort of opinion without the discomfort of thought. Physical fitness is not only one of the most important keys to a healthy body, it is the basis of dynamic and creative intellectual activity. Our most basic common link is that we all inhabit this planet. We all breathe the same air. We all cherish our children's future. And we are all mortal. A man may die, nations may rise and fall, but an idea lives on. My fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Peace is a daily, a weekly, a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, quietly building new structures. For time and the world do not stand still. Change is the law of life. And those who look only to the past or the present are certain to miss the future. We are tied to the ocean. And when we go back to the sea, whether it is to sail or to watch, we are going back from whence we came. The great enemy of the truth is very often not the lie, deliberate, contrived and dishonest, but the myth, persistent, persuasive and unrealistic. The greater our knowledge increases, the more our ignorance unfolds. When written in Chinese, the word crisis is composed of two characters. One represents danger and the other represents opportunity. A nation that is afraid to let its people judge the truth and falsehood in an open market is a nation that is afraid of its people. Communism has never come to power in a country that was not disrupted by war or corruption, or both. Domestic policy can only defeat us. Foreign policy can kill us. The sun doesn't always shine in West Virginia, but the people do. War will exist until that distant day when the conscientious objector enjoys the same reputation and prestige that the warrior does today. Our progress as a nation can be no swifter than our progress in education. The human mind is our fundamental resource. Change is the law of life. And those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. Conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. Efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. I am the man who accompanied Jacqueline Kennedy to Paris, and I have enjoyed it. The goal of education is the advancement of knowledge and the dissemination of truth. The world is very different now. For man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty, and all forms of human life. If we cannot now end our differences, at least we can help make the world safe for diversity. Our problems are man-made, therefore they may be solved by man. And man can be as big as he wants. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. If art is to nourish the roots of our culture, society must set the artist free to follow his vision wherever it takes him. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. Mankind must put an end to war before war puts an end to mankind. Tolerance implies no lack of commitment to one's own beliefs. Rather, it condemns the oppression or persecution of others. Washington is a city of Southern efficiency and Northern charm. We are not here to curse the darkness, but to light the candle that can guide us through that darkness to a safe and sane future. It is an unfortunate fact that we can secure peace only by preparing for war. There is always inequality in life. Some men are killed in a war and some men are wounded and some men never leave the country. Life is unfair. Mothers all want their sons to grow up to be president, but they don't want them to become politicians in the process. History is a relentless master. It has no present, only the past rushing into the future. To try to hold fast is to be swept aside. Sure, it's a big job, but I don't know anyone who can do it better than I can. It might be said now that I have the best of both worlds: a Harvard education and a Yale degree. We believe that if men have the talent to invent new machines that put men out of work, they have the talent to put those men back to work. I am not the Catholic candidate for president. I am the Democratic Party's candidate for president, who happens also to be a Catholic. Do you realize the responsibility I carry? I'm the only person standing between Richard Nixon and the White House. We prefer world law in the age of self-determination to world war in the age of mass extermination. The United States has to move very fast to even stand still. Once you say you're going to settle for second, that's what happens to you in life. We have the power to make this the best generation of mankind in the history of the world, or to make it the last. In a time of domestic crisis, men of goodwill and generosity should be able to unite regardless of party or politics. Politics is like football. If you see daylight, go through the hole. All free men, wherever they may live, are citizens of Berlin. And therefore, as a free man, I take pride in the words "Ich bin ein Berliner." Our growing softness, our increasing lack of physical fitness, is a menace to our security. In a very real sense, it will not be one man going to the moon, it will be an entire nation. For all of us must work to put him there. The basic problems facing the world today are not susceptible to a military solution. We would like to live as we once lived, but history will not permit it. We cannot expect that all nations will adopt like systems, for conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. My brother Bob doesn't want to be in government. He promised Dad he'd go straight. I don't think the intelligence reports are all that hot. Some days I get more out of the New York Times. Now we have a problem in making our power credible, and Vietnam is the place. When we got into office, the thing that surprised me most was to find that things were just as bad as we'd been saying they were.